Hey everyone, I have Rachel with me today, and she is one of my clients. And she's allowed me to have this recording with her so she can talk about where she was when she started with me and where she is now. She's basically gone from being petrified to hit record, and she is an amazing producer, and this was a goal of hers, to now going live on Facebook every single day. And this was just one of the things that we worked on. But you want to tell me a little bit about, basically why you came to me and where you are now?
Yeah, I have a boutique media company. I've been in media, TV, radio, podcasting for over 20 years. And so, like, being a semi-public figure was never an issue for me. And then when I left to start just focusing on clients, I started to realize when I turned the camera on myself to record content for myself and promote my own business, I couldn't do it. And I was literally petrified. That's the word I used when we first met, because I obviously have like unresolved issues that I needed to work on, but I didn't know where to start. I didn't understand what was happening. When you've been in media your whole life, like turning the camera on yourself should be easy. And I walk people through this journey all the time. I understand what it feels like to have this fear, but I didn't have a me to walk me through it. So I needed a Shannon. So I contacted you because I thought, okay, I've tried other things. Meditation wasn't working, just journaling wasn't working, grounding wasn't working. And so I was like, I've got to level up somehow. What can I do next? How do I get my nervous system in check? And so you and I started working together, and I feel like immediately I started to feel changes. The tools that you give us to use are absolutely incredible, but the scripts that you come up with are so intuitive, and you create a space that I feel safe in, where I can cry if I need to, or I can sigh if I need to, whatever it is that we need to do together. And so I really, really love the what we've created together. And exactly what you said, I went from being petrified to press record on my face. I didn't mind like recording stuff and doing voiceovers. It was something about turning the camera on myself and really seeing myself for who I am and where I am or where I was in that moment, that just I I couldn't get over the hump. I couldn't post, I couldn't record. I just didn't want to do anything. And so I sort of flip-flopped back into focusing on like word of mouth and my clients. And then when you and I started, it was like, maybe I can do this. Maybe this isn't so hard. Maybe the fear isn't what I think it is. And so you've been instrumental in getting me over this hump that I truly didn't understand why it was happening. And I had no idea how I could get it to stop. Um, so imagine being petrified to press record, and now I'm going live every day, sometimes multiple times a day, and not scared to do it. Totally feel fine. If there is any anxiety, I do one of the little tapping. What do you even
Yeah,
call it?
you
Is
like
it
the
like
silence
a
thumb, right? Oh, yeah, the body
well,
pointing.
I do this all the time, right? Like that's my where I'm like, okay, I just need to take a minute. And I think I've learned through not just through you, through a lot of people that I've met trying to do the work, that I don't breathe.
Yeah.
But with you, I've been able to regulate my nervous system, because it's not just about breathing, right? It's about sort of really getting your brain out of that fear space, and into just being. And that, if you ask my husband, like, what's my biggest problem? He will tell you, I can't just be, just be, just be in this space. My head is always spinning. I always feel like a spinning top, where it's like all the stuff with the business and then being a wife and then being a mom and all the personal stuff and then family stuff. I just like couldn't catch my breath. And then working with you, it was like, oh, wait, like, whew, there it is. Like, I can breathe. I can be at ease. It doesn't mean all these things aren't still happening around me. It means that I have the tools to now regulate my nervous system so I'm not going to literally lose my mind or have a panic attack, or freak out or burn out. And so it was such an important move to contact you. And I didn't fully understand EFT tapping, but you explain it so well. And I think it's a testament to you, not just EFT tapping, to how you handle the situation with your clients. Because, and you know this, a lot of stuff comes up that people weren't expecting, right? I may be coming to you because I'm scared to be on camera, but the reality was a deeper fear that we had to sort of deal with and touch on. And I think we are still dealing with that a lot. And I don't know that I'll ever not be dealing with that. Um, which we're not going to say here because it's too much and it's private. However, I have the tools now. So when it comes up, when I feel that fear, when all that anxiety is like right here, right? That's where all my stress and anxiety is. It's like right here. And you can feel it sometimes where it's just bubbling up. Um, I have tools from you that allow me to relax, give myself 5 minutes. I mean, you know this. How often do we just go from the next thing to the next thing to the next thing to the next thing? And we don't even sometimes even eat. We're definitely not breathing, and we're certainly not sitting and tapping,
Yeah.
right? And so when I was able to finally give myself that time, it is fascinating how quickly things change. Fascinating. So it's a testament to you because you're absolutely incredible at what you do. It's not just EFT tapping. When I work with you, number one, I look forward to it because you're so incredible. Number two, it's that space that you allow for people. And then number three, you're very intuitive. And so when things come to you, even when I'm not understanding where I'm at or what's happening, or I can't get the thought straight for whatever reason, you are just very intuitive in such a way that it allows for me to just be in that space. And then also let you lead, right? There's sometimes where we need help through this journey. And you guys, like, we can't do it ourselves. We really can't. There's so many people that have helped me in this path, but working with you and doing EFT has like leveled me up faster every time. Every time. So every session, I'm just like, oh, okay, that's where the block was. Oh, okay, like this is what I have to focus on. Oh, okay, let's switch that negative mindset. Um, and it seems like such a simple thing. Like we're just tapping on certain areas and talking out loud. But it allows my brain, because my brain constantly is just in this ADHD like spiral, right? Of thought after thought after thought after thought. And then also thinking of like the things I have to do, the things I haven't done, right? The to-do list that gets longer.
Mhm.
And then it builds up.
Yeah.
And then what do? We either cry, explode, we're like run back into our bedrooms, and we're not doing anything then, right? Then nothing's getting done. And because of you and working with you specifically, I have been able to at least take the baby steps, right? I've been able to regulate my nervous system and make my body understand that it's like, we're safe. Everything is okay. We don't need to be in fight or flight all the time. And fight or flight is the state that I've been in, I think, my whole life. And so that's really what I'm working on. And we're going to continue to work on it, right? Because life's not perfect, but that's the whole point is when you work with Shannon, you get the tools that you can continue to use forever and ever and ever. There will be no perfect, but there will be a time where you can just be. And no matter what it is, there could be chaos happening all around you, but you're just going to be like, oh, very chill in the moment because you've learned how to sort of, whether it's here, like publicly, or if you have to like tap on your fingers, right? I do that a lot. Like in public spaces where I'm just like, okay, I cannot control the situation. This is out of my control. However, I can control how I react,
Yeah.
right? It's just fascinating how taking some time can really reset you. So thank you so much for everything that you have done for me. Like legitimately scared to press record and now we're live. I'm live every day.
Yeah. Well, and also on summits and all of these other events that you've been doing.
I
You've been
know. I
doing a
gave a
lot of
speech.
events.
It's crazy.
I think the May, live a day in May is like the icing on the top of all of the work that you've been doing even prior to that with, putting yourself out there. and doing interviews and everything too. So
Well,
it
the
is.
goal was and you and I have discussed this in our sessions is like, what's the easy button here?
Mhm,
Like, what's the path of least resistance to get it done? And so my biggest issue was having too much content now, right? Like, so we we went from too scared to press record to recording every day and then having too much content, right? And then we had to then work through, okay, I need help. Like when you're a growing business, you have to actually hire people. So then the next thing we had to work through was trusting people, right? I have issues with trust. I don't trust people. Um, and so we started to work on that. And then I hired my first person. I just hired my second person. I'm hiring a third person today. I'm training a fourth person. Like that's insane to me. And that just happened within like, I mean, we only had a few days in between each session. And so to level up for me that quickly, when all I was doing was like living in fear and fight or flight,
mhm.
is so fascinating to me. It's like it's such a simple thing, but I think honestly, really working with you and allowing you to sort of focus on the things that I didn't realize were the real issues, right? Like all of us can come to you like, "Oh, I'm going through this," or "I can't handle stress," or
Yeah.
whatever it is, but a lot of times there's really something deeper that our body is holding on to. And you're incredible at getting me to release. Whereas I'm the person who just I want to hold on to all the anxiety because it's all I know. It's all my body knows. I didn't know there was another way until I met you.
Yeah, it's all the keeping is trying to keep you safe. It's all so when you feel that safety in the body, it's the same thing with the fight or flight. It's just not feeling safe. A lot of it comes down to not feeling safe. But there's steps that we have to do, and that's exactly it. What you're saying too is people. That's one of the reasons why I went on to get trauma training because I wanted to be able to um, allow my clients to feel even safer and be able to go into certain things that they've never been able. Like I can't tell you how many times I hear, I've never told anybody this, or I've been with my therapist for 15 years and I haven't even told her this. And so also getting the body to feel safe enough to do it. Because to quote you in the beginning, pressing record makes me want to vomit. So, that's a physical response. And the body is not feeling safe at all to hit record. And so we worked on that. And it went by really fast. And you have taken these massive, massive leaps and you've done the work, and that's one of the things too that I feel like sets me apart just a little bit from other people is humble, right? Giving you the tools, like giving my clients the tools to be able to manage things on their own, because my goal isn't to get a client and keep the client for decades. I want the client to be able to do all of this on their own, and it's just amazing to witness your progress and how far you've come, and it's just amazing. And there's so many as you're talking, I'm thinking of all these different layers that we've peeled back, and we're not getting into all of that, but one thing helps another. And in really coming down to the nervous system, when you do calm your nervous system, everything else tends to fall into place. So if that component is missing, it doesn't end up doing the trick most of the
No, you just keep
time.
spiraling in the same space. I think we said at one point it's like being on a merry-go-round, right? And it's like I just want to get off the merry-go-round. So are there times where that still happens? Yes, but it happens less frequently. And I know how to sort of get myself out of the spiral, right? Like it really is. It's fascinating how much your body will hold on to trauma and it manifests itself. And you know this in different ways. And one of those ways is like physical pain, mental pain. And when you can sort of release it, um, I think we get so used to being in pain,
Mhm.
we don't know what it feels like to not be in pain.
Yeah, and
And
stress
when
and
you
everything
can,
else, yeah.
it's crazy.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
it's normal, yeah, it's just
It-
the way it is.
It's so weird that we just get so used to living with the stress and the pain. And so when you can get in that space, when it gets released, I mean, we had a session that I posted where I literally like could feel it all like break apart off of my body. And we were just talking about value, how I realized, oh my God, I don't feel valued. I don't value myself. I don't value my time. And that was a space when I was trying to then start charging more for my services that I like, because I knew I had to in order to continue this to grow in a way that it could be sustaining in some way. But I was so petrified then to then say, oh, this is how much I am per hour, or these are my packages. And so you helped me through that. And it was crazy because in my head, I didn't understand that the link really was I myself don't value myself. And that's where the fear is coming from. When you value yourself and you can love yourself, which is also something we've worked on, is loving myself. It's like, oh, it's not that I'm scared to tell people this is, my time is valuable. I don't feel valuable.
Yeah.
And that shift was huge for me. That
I'll
shifted
never
so
forget
much
that
that
one.
day. I was like, oh my God, like, oh, I need a minute. It was so cool. If you
Yeah.
guys could go back and watch it, like, it was such a great moment. And
Yeah.
so, again, it's a testament to you because you create a safe space. You're very good at understanding where to take the ship, right? Because in those moments, it's so overwhelming at times that it's like, I don't know where to go from here, but it's not for me, right? You're like hand in hand leading me on that journey and down that path. And I trust you exponentially and completely so that when we go to those spaces, I'm not scared, right? Because I know I'm in good hands. I know you can take me out of it. Like we can tap on something to get into a different space if we need to. And so when the trauma or the pain or whatever it is that comes up, number one, it's never as bad as you think it's going to be, right? Like if it is that thing that I've never told anybody, it feels so good to finally tell somebody. It feels so good to not hold on to it anymore and to just at least say, okay, this is why. Um, and then have the tools to tap and create a new space for it. It's fascinating how just changing your mindset works pretty good, right? Everybody says to you, oh, like stop thinking negatively, start to think positively. But when you pair it with EFT tapping and how you lead us through the way you script, and if people want, I mean, you can explain scripting more if you want to, but it's it works so much faster than anything else I've ever done. Any therapy, anything, anything that I've ever, and I've done all of the things. And so it's just amazing how getting out of your brain and getting out of the loop
Mhm.
allows you to move forward.
Yeah. And that's one of the things I know we focused on too is getting out of the brain and into the heart. And that's a whole another technique that I use. And one of the things I wanted to say as you were talking is, it gives you your power back. When you're able to release these things and process them or reframe them, but even just the process of becoming aware of something that's happening when we're not on a call and knowing exactly what to do, you've taken your power back. And each layer that we're peeling back, you're taking more and more power back. And it's incredible the shifts that happen just as a result of that alone.
Well, I think that in life, we get so reactionary. And that's how I was. I would immediately fight fire with fire. Do you know what I mean? And it was just like number one, is this the reaction I want to have? Is this the energy I want in my body and my space? No. Number two, it's okay to take a beat. I think we just immediately are like, rawr. And instead it's like, okay, wait, like I can feel what's happening. I know something's happening. Anger, fear, whatever. I need a minute to deal with this, right? Like I need to get myself in a space of how do I want to react to the situation? And that's helped me too in so many different ways. I was the person who, again, fight or flight. So for me, immediately you would set me off less than 60 seconds and I would be like raring to go because it's like, I will fight fire with fire. Go ahead, come at me. But that's not how it didn't make me feel good, right? Again, then you're holding on to even more anger. There's something that happens with anger and fear
Mhm.
that it like literally seethes in your bloodstream almost. And then those things happen. You can't stop thinking about it for days. So now your brain is consistently playing that back in your head over and over and over again. And you're feeling that stress and that fear and that anger over and over and over and over again. And so to get yourself off that spiral, literally just take that time.
Like you said, it's so it really
It's
is
so simple.
so simple.
And you
It's
said it
just
from
a
the
matter,
beginning.
yeah, it's just a matter of literally, like my mentor would say, stop, drop, and tap. Like,
Hmm.
it can literally shift you within a couple of minutes, especially after you've been doing it. Once you know what to do and your body knows, okay, like you can just start here or wherever it is, your finger tapping, whatever, and within seconds. We have some clients, as soon as we start here, they're already yawning because they're already shifting energy,
They're shifting.
So the body knows, okay, okay, I'm safe. It's going to be safe now. But it is really so simple, and I do like to teach it so that people can use it on their own, and it doesn't have to be complicated. And I teach it differently to each person because every person is different, and what works for one person may not work for another person. And so I have a bevy of tools just for that.
Well, I hope people can book some one-on-one sessions with you to really understand what you do. It's such a hard thing to explain. Like as simple as it is, it's hard to explain to people until you get into this session with you and you really get us into that space. And it's like, oh shit, like this is crazy. It's deep and but it starts to happen so quick. It's incredible. So I love you so much. And honestly, truly, like you have completely changed my life. Don't think I would have been in this space as quickly as I have been. And so much more is coming and happening. Um, and so even today, I like before we met, I could feel myself this morning, or I hugged my husband and I was like, I feel like I'm spiraling. And he just kept saying, like, just be, just be. And I just started, okay, like, just be in a space. Like, I am safe. Everything's fine. Like, nothing immediate was happening in any way whatsoever. I just feel like those moments of overwhelm where I, all I'm doing is being overwhelmed and I'm not actually doing any of the things I need to do. I'm just like, because you don't know where to start. And so when you take that minute and you just take a beat and you sort of tune into your higher self too, you will get that next aligned action step. You will be told, hey, okay, everything's fine. I am safe. Why don't you do the next thing is this? Let's get this small thing out of the way. And then
Well,
it's just
having your
be,
nervous system calm enough to hear it.
you
Because it's
have
always
to.
there. That's why I
Yeah,
tell everybody,
no,
it's all within you already. So it's just the nervous system is calm enough that it can hear, oh, you know what, this is what I need to be doing. And you can listen versus fighting it. Because sometimes like you hear it and you just fight it because your brain says, oh, I need to be doing this other thing. I need to be
exactly.
spiraling right now because that's what's going to keep me safe from whatever.
Well, because if it thinks that that's what you've done in the past, right? Like we're deprogramming. And
Mhm.
I've heard this over and over again from many different people, but you actually give us the tools to do the deprogramming, right? So, like, I've done the switch the negative into a positive, but that takes work. And for some reason, pairing it with the tapping, it just goes faster. Does that make sense? It
Yeah,
just
it does.
I've heard, think positive things and not negative things, switch that thought to a positive for my whole life. And then met you and was like, whoa, wait, it's actually like
Well, and that's
happening.
just a piece of it because, yeah, it's almost like, it's not to say that just positive affirmations will do the trick if you just think positive, because there's toxic positivity too. But there's a level of acknowledge, like really acknowledging. And then when you're acknowledging and tapping at the same time, you're sending that message to the amygdala of the brain that we're safe. And so basically, like the amygdala is what tags emotional significance to memories. And so a lot of these memories were tagged with fear or anger or trauma or whatever the case may be. So when you're talking about it and tapping at the same time, it's literally the amygdala is retagging the emotional significance from fear to safe, from anger to safe, from trauma to safe. And that's what reprograms those neural pathways to basically create safety, to neutralize the trigger. So the next time that thing comes up that you've been triggered by before, it's not triggered and you can easily move into a positive state. Like, oh, that thing just came up. Oh, well, I'm going to do XYZ anyway. And you move into that positivity and it works because that trigger is gone. So it's not like fighting it either. It's just a natural progression.
Yeah, there's actually like science and biology attached to everything that you're doing, which makes it even more fascinating because it's like, oh, this is really incredible. So if people do want to book time with you, do you have availability right now? Can they book time even if it's just an intro session? How do they
Yeah.
do that?
Yeah, so I offer 20-minute, like a 20-minute call, 20-minute, I call it a connection call, just so that we can connect and chat about what they'd like support with and how the process works, answer any questions that they have. So I pretty much have time for that just about any time where I can make it work. With summer coming, I am offering a summer special right now. So I have a feeling it's going to book up, and I am opening my practice to kids this summer, which I'm super, super excited
Yay!
about. Yeah, super excited about that. So my email is Shannon at Tap with Shannon, and my Facebook page is facebook.com/Shannon, excuse me, Tap with Shannon.com. And so yeah, but I mean, you can look up my name on Facebook and find my business page easily. So those are probably the two best ways right now.
Perfect. And we'll put everything in the comments. This will live from your Facebook page, which is great. And then I will share it with everybody because honestly, I love you so much. And not that I want to share you with other people, but
But you want other people to benefit, right?
but
That's the
I want
thing is
other
like
people to benefit.
when you benefit so
Absolutely.
much, it's like how that's how it got me started is how can I not share this with other people? It felt like a
Exactly.
crime to not share this with other people because it works so well and it's really so simple. And then you can end up you doing it on your own and empowering yourself every single day. And it's just life and you
Exactly.
can share it with your kids and your family. And I've got people that I'll do a workshop and they're like, oh, I used it in my yoga class when I was teaching, or I used it with my kid before her gymnastics. And so it's just that's my whole goal is just to spread this. So thank you so much for coming on here today and sharing so vulnerably. And I just love you too. And I am so honored to witness your journey and be a part of it. And I know you're still unfolding, but the unfolding that's already happened is really just absolutely incredible. And I'm just so happy that you trusted me to be on this journey with you.
Well, thank you so much.
See you later.